And today we have some Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee news to talk about because the Pokemon Company and Game Freak have confirmed that for the gym requirements, you will not always need to have a super effective type matchup. Now this is massive news for the Pokemon games because one of the biggest criticisms about the game is that it's going to be too easy because of what we saw right here at the Nintendo Treehouse E3 presentation. Pewter City Gym only allows trainers who know type matchups to enter, and everyone immediately just started hating on this game even more. It's like, oh, you remove the catching mechanic, you make the wild trainer levels lower, even though that seems to actually scale. So it's going to be lower in the beginning and then higher at the end of the game, which seems pretty balanced and fair, and also there's going to be different leveling and experience methods, so the game is still incredibly balanced, but people, for absolutely no reason, are just finding pointless ways to hate on this game, and there's really no support behind it. So they see this and they think, oh, the game's gonna be super easy because you have to have a super effective Pokemon to face every gym. That while it didn't even suggest anything like that in this, people immediately went to the negativity, but that has been proven wrong right here. So the original post came from Silicon Era, but I also found it on the Japanese Pokemon website. I just found this through them first. So yeah, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee are adding all kinds of cool stuff with the updated graphics, but a new requirement for challenging gym leaders have made some fans unhappy. The official website for Pokemon Let's Go updated with new info on the story. In the What is a Pokemon Gym section, starts out by explaining the basics of how, of being a facility where Pokemon trainers go to test their skills, receive gym badges. Sounds pretty standard, but the next part throws a curveball that we haven't seen in the series. In order to challenge a gym, you need requirements presented at the entrance. Requirements vary. So there it is. There's our confirmation right there. It's going to be Pokemon types, levels, and plenty more. The info was available. So gym guide is usually found at the entrance to all gyms, and it's just the league official right here. So then just kind of talking about how the system works a bit more. And on the Japanese Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee website, you can kind of at the top of the page right here, it's not on screen, but there's like a little book, and you can see all the new things that they're talking about, and they're updating the website. Like, why don't we have the English Pokemon website doing this just yet? So this reminds me of Pokemon Sun and Moon, Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Whenever there's a new feature, whenever there's a news update, it seems like there's going to be a lot of features. It seems like there's going to be a lot to talk about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and then in the city page right here, scroll down to the bottom, and it does talk, what is a Pokemon Gym? Pokemon Gym is a facility competing for strength of Pokemon battle. It is translated, so it's going to be a little silly. When you defeat the gym leader, you get a gym badge, proof of victory. In order to challenge, you have to clear conditions presented at the entrance. Conditions will vary depending on type and level of the Pokemon you have. Result, it will lead to an effective means to battle with the gym leader. So pretty much what people saw was this right here, and they were just like, oh, why do they make me win against Brock by having a water and grass type Pokemon? The thing is, that's not even true. All you have to do is present a water or grass type Pokemon, and you don't even have to use it against Brock. And going back to the context clues, you can see right here that this is like bolded, or it has a different color to it. So Pewter City Gym only allows trainers who know type matchups to enter. See, this sounds like something specific to Pewter City Gym, yet people just assumed it was going to be the same for everything, that you need a super effective matchup against all the trainers, and therefore the game is easy, and that's why Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is bad. But that criticism is completely invalid, and I don't know how people are still going to hate the system now, because it actually encourages you to play Pokemon. And even if we go in further, like it says that since this is the first gym, they want you to understand type matchups. So this is actually really cool in many different ways because it encourages you to play the game, but it's also like one of the least heavy-handed tutorials I've seen, because this doesn't guide you. It's not like, oh, to beat a trainer, you have to press this move, and then you do this action, and then you do this. Like, it doesn't give you a free win against Brock. It doesn't give you a handhold tutorial at the beginning. It just kind of tells you, hey, this is how you play the game. Pokemon have different typings, and then you can use those typings as advantages. And even for experienced players, this also isn't like easy mode or anything, because you can catch an Oddish at like level 4 in Viridian Forest, and this doesn't inhibit you in any way. And if you still want to use Pikachu exclusively to double kick Brock in the face, you can do it. If you don't even want to have a super effective matchup, if you want to go old school, if you want to go like OG Pokemon Yellow version, you can still catch a Butterfree, teach it Confusion, and then use that to try to wear down Brock. You can do whatever you want to face Brock because all he says is show me a grass or water type Pokemon. Like, you aren't forced to use it. So yeah, please show me a grass or water type Pokemon if you want to face the leader, and that's it. and then it's just encouraging you to play the game. So I also don't even see how that's a bad thing, because instead of just like rushing to Brock and then trying to like crush the game, you actually have to play Pokemon. You have to catch them all. You have to engage in the new catching mechanic. You have to engage in all of the new Pokemon features that are inside the game, and I don't see that as a bad thing, because it's not, again, it's not forcing you. It's not stopping you in a heavy-handed way, that there's going to be plenty of opportunities to get your grass-type Pokemon. There's freaking Bulbasaur in Viridian City. Don't you want that? I'm also guessing that if they have grass or water types, that water type Pokemon will be able to be encountered before Brock, which is something that we haven't seen before either, which I think is really cool. Now, some people, what they are upset about is that it doesn't say fighting type, but even then, like, I don't think that they should be like, oh, Brock, since he's a rock ground type, or rock ground trainer, means that you need to have a fighting, grass, water, steel, ice. You know, they don't say that you have to bring every single typing. They're just like, hey, you went through Viridian Forest, right? You probably ran into a grass type Pokemon. Or, hey, you went to route, is it 23 that's to the west of Viridian City? It's like, oh, hey, you picked up, like, I don't even know what could be there. Like, would there be a Psyduck? Would there be maybe a Poliwag or something? It's like, hey, maybe Squirtle. I don't know. Like, Pokemon are just going to appear, and that's going to be really cool. So it's like, yeah, show me a Pokemon if you want to enter. And that way, if someone is having a challenge, they understand why they're having a challenge and what is needed for it. And then Pokemon players that already memorize all the typing tables, they're going to be just fine. So I don't see where the problem is. And even then, to balance this, it seems like Mankey might not even be encounterable before Brock. So we've already seen this right here. That's going to be Mankey on the map, and that's going to be past Brock on Route 3. Also, I got it wrong. This is Route 22. It's like, it's either Route 22 or 23. But I mean, this is still something fairly classic in that you can encounter Nidoran there, and Nidoran learned Double Kick in the original Yellow version game. So there was a lot of changes for Pokemon Yellow to make Brock easier, but people never complained about that. However, they're trying to use that as a way to attack Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and even then, the Mankey mechanics start getting pretty interesting. So Mankey, in like the original games, first off, it was a red version exclusive, and then it became Yellow, but 5, 6, 7, that's past Cerulean City. You know, that's when that started happening. So Route 5, that's going to be where the daycare is, so past Cerulean City. Route 22, that's what's going to be west of Viridian City, and that's where you can also encounter a Nidoran. Nidoran, in Yellow version exclusively, gets access to Double Kick at level 12. So if you're struggling against Brock, you just grind up. You know, your Pikachu, not going to cut it. Going to be a pretty tough Pokemon to try to fight Brock with. You can't, like, tap a Sprinkler and then get a super effective bonus on now a Soak. Dude, that'd be so sick. That would be so sick if there's like a soak mechanic to where it's like you hit the sprinkler, you take a turn to hit the sprinkler, and then it soaks, and like it actually applies the move soak, and then it becomes a water type, and then you hit it with the electricity. That would be pretty sick, but I don't think Pokemon is like that hardcore environment interactive RPG. But either way, that doesn't exist. So what you need is you need the Mankey from Route 22, or you need the Double Kick on the Nidoran, and even then, Fire Red Leaf Green made it easier for Charmander. So players that picked Charmander, you know, what they had was they had a harder beginning. You know, the game started off slower for them because, like, wow, you just get beaten down by Misty. You don't even have a super effective hit against Brock initially, whereas if you have Bulbasaur or Squirtle, you get to kind of blaze through it pretty big, but then you kind of snowball into that mid-game against Erica. Blaine, you're resisted by, so yeah, Charmander's kind of like the hard mode, while also being one of the cooler Pokemon to pick, potentially, depending on how you look at it. It's like, yo, I got a fire-breathing lizard. That beats the water Squirtle, ooh, or the water turtle, and then the bulb Pokemon. So yeah, it's like, yeah, they gave him Metal Claw in their generation. Again, no one was complaining about this making Fire Red Leaf Green easy mode. It's just updating the game to modern mechanics and then understanding what Pokemon takes to become more efficient and simple to play. So yeah, I'll already debunk the argument against the gyms as invalid because it's pretty clear that it's not going to be every gym requiring you to have a super effective matchup, but that this also encourages like a lot of positivity and just a lot of healthy gameplay about Pokemon. And I don't really think there's anything else you can say about it because even with all the gyms having some kind of requirement, it's going to be engaging, it's going to be fun, it's going to be actually trying to play the game for how the game is supposed to be played. And it's going to be cool if there's like some kind of level requirement. Now, some people might be upset about that because like another complaint I've heard is like, this kills Nuzlocke. It's like, okay, so this kills a very, like, I don't think Nuzlocke are cool. I think they're lame and stupid. It's like, so this kills a very subjective, unofficial playstyle that has never been supported by Pokemon, that isn't really core to anything that about the spirit of Pokemon, you know? It's like, it's just a challenge. Like, I don't see how it makes the game bad to restrict a very niche fan-created challenge, and even then, like, the Nuzlocke kind of dies just from the overworld Pokemon, but I've never heard anyone be against overworld Pokemon. Like, you know, the random encounters, that's something that I've been hearing people wanting gone since, like, Generation 4, so it'd be really cool if you saw Pokemon in the wild, and then you can hunt down Pokemon like real life. That's a more real-world Pokemon experience, and that's been integrated since Generation 5 with, like, the, what are they called, Phenomenon? And then you can even see, like, Pokemon shadows and, like, rustling stuff in the overworld, and that even happens in Pokemon Sun and Moon. So, I mean, this is a feature that has been slowly integrated that fans have been wanting, but now, just because it's Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, suddenly it's a really bad thing, when really, there's not too much supporting it. So I like challenge people to actually have a problem with this issue, because I don't see one. This doesn't affect the game, and I think it actually makes it a more enjoyable Pokemon experience that is more core to the spirit of Pokemon, like everything for this game. It's a main series Pokemon game, confirmed by the developers. It's made for all Pokemon fans of all experiences and all ages, confirmed by the developers, and I haven't seen anything that's too handholdy or too, you know, easy, restrictive, makes the game, like, completely broken or anything. This is just, this game gets better and better the more information that gets confirmed about it, and I can't wait for the next news update. So, you guys, enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.